What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, welcome to Quita in the Morning, live from Dallas. Today I am going to watch the Dallas Wings versus the Indiana Fever. We're going to talk more about that in just a sec. Again, huge shout out to Tisha for the ticket. Anyway, guys, we're live from Dallas, and I was like, you know what? Even though I have a bad internet connection, we about to do this live stream because we got some stuff to talk about. We got some injuries to talk about. We got last night's games to talk about as well. Was I the only one surprised about the results of yesterday's games? The Mystics mean some serious business, and Jade Melbourne is a very, very tough cookie. And also, she previously had that injury before. We're going to talk about that soon. I haven't seen anybody talk about that so far, but we're going to talk about it. Also, what in the world happened to Indiana yesterday? The collapse was ridiculous. The offensive rebounds, the offensive rebounds that they gave up was crazy. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more because Quita in the Morning starts now, guys.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
Uh-oh. I thought I'd be done by the time that video stopped. Anyway, guys, let's get into it. Thank y'all so much again for joining me. And yeah. And FaZe is already going crazy about Paige already. Conley says maybe Quita would be sporting a cowboy hat on since he will be alive from Texas. No cowboy hat. no cowboy hat. No. Maybe next time when I go to Texas. We'll see. Anyway, please make sure to hit that like button. Please make sure to hit that like button. Thank you very much. All right, let's get into it. And first, I want to talk about FaZe. Yes, I'm here to watch Dallas versus Indiana at American Airlines Arena. Should be really fun. Anyway, let's get into the first topic. And I want to start off talking. Darn! I thought I had a graphic about injuries. Well, actually, I want to start off talking about injuries in the WNBA. Because injuries are a thing, and with more eyes on the WNBA, it seems that like it's becoming more of a thing where people are talking about it and like, hey, why in the world is this happening? Why are so many people getting injured and yada. So let's get into it. And I first want to start off talking about Lexi Held with the Phoenix Mercury. Then we'll move on to Jade Melbourne. Then we weave that into the recaps of yesterday's games. And then we'll talk about today's games. Okay. So, we got to talk about how brutal the game of basketball can be, right? Because basketball is a contact sport, which means people do get injured. Lexi Held, she is a rookie guard who has been straight up balling for the Phoenix Mercury so far this year. She had one of the scariest injuries we've seen this season, though at the time, it didn't seem that bad. We saw a play where Breanna Stewart ended up stealing the ball, knocking the ball away from Lexi Held, who had the basketball. Then Lexi and Breanna Stewart both went for the basketball. They both fell on the floor. So Breanna Stewart ended up colliding with Lexi Held, and then ball got kicked up and led to a fast break opportunity for the New York Liberty. Now, at the time, it didn't seem, and Lexi Held went out of the game and she didn't return. And so, like, rib injury, it didn't seem that serious. Well, of course, rib injuries are serious, but you get what I'm saying. Until yesterday, when the Phoenix Mercury ended up putting out that actually the injury Lexi Held had was actually very, very serious, and it required a train ride back to Phoenix instead of her being able to fly because it involved her lungs, right? I believe it was partially collapsed lung, and it was like it came out that she had to take a train because she couldn't fly, because when your lung has an issue, then that's very, very serious. And that came out, and I was like, what? She had a collapsed lung? Like, that is like actually legit. Like that's like really, really, really serious. Yeah, partially collapsed lung. I should say partially collapsed lung, to be more specific. And this is what happens. You're fighting for a loose ball against Breanna Stewart, just hustling. You're just doing your job, and all of a sudden you wind up with a collapsed lung after that. And I wanted to not just talk about this injury for Lexi Held. I also wanted to use this as an opportunity to introduce people to who Lexi is, just so you all can kind of get an idea of who she is, and just kind of keep that stuff in mind, because yes, injuries happen and whatnot, but I also always want to make sure that not only do you all understand the injury that she just suffered, but also understand who she is as a person. So let's get to know Lexi Held. Who is she? Well, Lexi Held is not a household name just yet. However, she does have a story that is very much peak WNBA. Very much why I love the WNBA. Partially of why. Because it gives opportunities to players, and there's sometimes it doesn't work out, and then they try again, and then boom, they're in the league. Boom, they're making a huge impact. And it's like, wow, where did this girl come from? Well, she was right here the whole time. Right here the whole time. She just needed an opportunity. Okay? Let's get into it. So, Lexi Held, if you don't know, she did play basketball at DePaul under the legendary Chicago head coach Doug Bruno. I don't know how well known Doug Bruno is in outside of the city of Chicago, but like he's a big deal. Just retired from DePaul, but big deal when it comes to women's basketball in Chicago. But she played for him, and she played a fast-paced offense. This is someone who averaged around like 13 points a game for DePaul. Was known as a really, really good shooter in the Big East. And when she graduated and wanted to go to the WNBA, no teams wanted to pick her up. Lexi Held was available for the 2022 WNBA draft. She was not drafted. No one drafted her in 2022. And like many other players, that could have been the end of Lexi Held when it comes to basketball. Right? That could have been the end. But instead, she ended up going to the Chicago Sky training camp for the 2022 season, but she didn't make the team. So she wasn't drafted. Got invited to training camp for the Chicago Sky, did not make the team, and then she went overseas. Just like many other players, she went overseas and played in several countries around the world, just getting better and better and better and better and better. Again, waiting for that next opportunity to possibly come back to the U.S. and play in the WNBA. And she went to several countries: Australia, Hungary, Poland, Sweden. You get the gist. A lot of countries, and played basketball, and she played well enough that the Phoenix Mercury this past off season, early 2025, was like, you know what? That Lexi Held, I like her. I've been seeing some of her stats overseas. I think she could be a pretty good. Player for our squad. So they ended up signing her. So they signed her to a I believe training camp roster spot early in 2025, and this training camp deal that leads to a lot of other players getting cut, it led to her making a name for herself and really, really showing not only can she make the squad, but no, she could be a huge piece on this team. And when it comes to how good Lexi Held is, oh, y'all, dog. If y'all have not watched Lexi Held play, she is fantastic. All right? Absolutely fantastic. All right? Let's kind of go through her stats real quick. Because I just want you all to kind of have it in your minds, like how good this player is. She's not just a random player, guys. She is someone who is absolutely making stuff happen, basically. All right, so far this season, she's averaging 8.7 points a game, 1.7 rebounds a game, 1.4 assists per game, 1.5 steals a game. She's playing around 20 minutes per game for this Phoenix Mercury squad, and is shooting the ball at a pretty nice clip. 39% from the field, 31% from the three. When it comes to the bench for the Phoenix Mercury, the top dog, for the most part, is Lexi Held, coming off the bench and absolutely making a stand right away. When we look at players who have started so far this year and players who have primarily come off the bench, Lexi Held is the best player on the Phoenix Mercury who have never started a game. Now you can make the argument that like Laxa is probably the number one bench player for the Phoenix Mercury, but Laxa has started, I believe she started like 5 games so far this season. Lexi Held has not started at all this season for the Phoenix Mercury, and she comes off the bench, gives instant impact. This is someone who can knock down that three. Is one of those players that Alyssa Thomas kicks it out to knock down a three, and she has been rocking and rolling for the squad and has been very, very, very good. Again, leading the squad in bench points, if you don't count Latska, because she did start 5 games. She's primarily a bench player, but like she did start 5 games. So if you don't count her, Lexi Held is the number one bench player for the Phoenix Mercury. All right, now let's actually get into what specifically happened in that game versus the New York Liberty to cause Lexi Held to have a collapsed lung. Because a collapsed lung, yeah, sometimes you see rib injuries, you see a concussion. Like there's other stuff that you see in basketball. A collapsed lung is not an injury that happens every day in the game of women's basketball. It doesn't happen all the time. So let's go back to that game, the Liberty game that happened, I believe it was June 19th. It was the game right before the Phoenix Mercury took on the Chicago Sky. So Lexi has the basketball. She's dribbling. She has the basketball. And Brianna Stewart is guarding her. Brianna Stewart pokes the ball away. They both dive for the basketball. Brianna Stewart kind of gets held, and her arm was kind of like trapped under Brianna Stewart's body, it looked like. And it led to a fast break opportunity and make for the New York Liberty. And they actually had the injury on their Twitter account, like showing the fast break opportunity, because they were showing the whole play. And I was like, oh, that's exactly the point where she got injured. And yeah, so it happens, a collision. Lexi Held exits the game. It's first reported that it's a rib injury, and so she'll probably be out for a couple of games. Didn't seem like that big of a deal, but turns out it was actually a partially collapsed lung. Now here's the deal. When you have a lung injury, you can't fly. You can't, right? It's dangerous. It's dangerous to fly with a lung injury. I believe it's like the altitude pressure or something about the flight that would make it not safe. So what did Lexi do? Well, if you cannot fly, what else is there to do? Well, you could either drive the full way, or you can take the train. So Lexi and I believe one of the trainers for the Phoenix Mercury ended up taking the train from New York all the way down to Phoenix. And now, guys, that is a long ride. A very, very long ride. But that's what they had to do. That was the only way to get Lexi back. Either that or to drive. And I'm assuming that driving just wasn't feasible. And at least in a train, you can just kind of sit there and the ride will be kind of smooth and all that stuff. So yeah. Anyway, they made the decision to have a 3-day train trip across the country from New York all the way to Phoenix. And the cool part was that yes, this is a sucky thing that happened. It's terrible. I'm sure she's probably in pain and had to get on the long train. However, I thought it was cool, and the reason why I included this photo is because I thought it was really cool that some of the staffers for the Phoenix Mercury, including the head coach Nate Tibbetts, they went and saw her return from the train, and so they were there waiting for her. They had signs, and I thought that was really cool. And so yeah. Yeah, I thought that was really, really cool. So the reason why you see some people have a sign that says "Welcome Home, Ashley" is because Ashley was the staffer that was with. She was the staffer that was with Lexi Held. She's a physical therapist, and she was with Lexi on the train ride. So yeah. Anyway, question of the day. Have you ever gone on a long train ride? One thing I would love to do in my lifetime is do several massive trips on Amtrak. Like, I think that'd be so fun, just going across the country. And it takes several days, but you're looking out the window the whole time. You're just enjoying the scenery as you go from state to state to state to state. Of course, I'm sure Lexi probably didn't want to do that while being uncomfortable with a partially collapsed lung, but have you ever been on a train? Curious to hear what you all have to say. Anyway. Now, obviously, Phoenix had to act fast, right? Lexi Held is now out for a while. She's going to be out for a while. And you already had Megan McConnell, who was basically out for the majority of the season, right? And so you had to do something, right? This is a Phoenix Mercury team that is rocking and rolling. They are looking really, really, really good. And they had to bring in another guard. So they did that. They ended up making a decision to waive Megan McConnell. This is someone who, she only played in one game. Like, she got signed after the season started. Her brother plays in the NBA, Megan McConnell, and she played in one game, got hurt, and she was done. Now, of course, I believe she's still going to get all her medical stuff taken care of from her injury because it occurred while she was still on the Phoenix Mercury, and so she's taken care of on that front. But they needed to waive her because, hey, you got to make some room for other players. And so we do see Kiana Williams join the Phoenix Mercury. She is someone who played at Stanford, and has also played in the WNBA. She played in a total of 27 WNBA games so far, and so we'll see what she does with this team. But yeah, they do have a new signee right now, and there is still possible talks about maybe DeWanna Bonner may be joining this team down the road. We'll see. Remember, guys, DeWanna Bonner was waived by the Indiana Fever. The fit just didn't work, and supposedly she would like to go to Phoenix. And so yeah, that's a thing that I wanted to just mention and talk about. The fact that, yeah, there's a lot of changes. There's a lot of changes afoot for the Phoenix Mercury, and they needed to just get someone in right now. And so they did add in Williams, who has signed with the team because Lexi is injured, and Megan McConnell, who was injured, is now waived from the squad. Hopefully that all makes sense. Also, guys, I do want to just do a quick segue to. I want to do a quick segue to actually a conversation that was had between Courtney Williams and Atisha Heidemann. So, as some of you all know, the duo of Atisha Heidemann and Courtney Williams, they have a live stream that they do, or I believe it's live that they do, and they just talk about what's happening in the WNBA, and I gotta say, I love it. I absolutely love it. And there's a specific clip where they talked about DeWanna Bonner, and I want it in the situation, and I wanted to actually highlight that because they are probably one of the most qualified people to really give some insight because they previously played with DB. And so I just want to play a clip of their conversation real quick because I think it just gives more context to just what in the world is going on. And so, yeah, we're going to look at that real quick, and then we're going to move on to talk about the other injuries that have happened in the W. Again, this is not going to be now we're going back to this DeWanna situation. It's just a conversation that they had, and I was like, actually, I think this would be very, very interesting for the awesome people of the internet to hear. So that's why I want to play it. Anyway. All right, let's actually go to it now. And let me. All right, so let's play it. And also, guys, let me know if you can't hear it.
What we think about DB leaving?
Man,
that's crazy. I'm not gonna lie, that was crazy.
like,
It is. I think it's even crazier because it's like, bro, we know DB.
yeah.
Like, that was our team,
Personally,
yeah. So it's like, what the hell going on over there to make her? Cause she not even really like.
She a pro, like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, she's a pro's pro. So it's like,
What the hell?
what in the actual, huh? Like, even when it's like sitting out games, I didn't even know she sat out.
Remember I told you the other day.
That's what I'm saying. I did not know that, bro.
Yeah.
And now it's like parting ways, bro. It's like, man, I don't know what's going on over there. But I know DB a pro's pro, so it had to be something.
Show the hell did.
It was something.
Something happened, bro.
Something
You
had
can't
to
just
happen,
go
bro.
up and leave.
DB ain't just not playing, bro.
She not just up and then
Like, come on, bro. She not even giving it up like that. That
And,
ain't
like,
even.
And she just like she's 16 years in, bro.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying. Like, she been doing this
been
too
through
long.
a lot of
Yes,
stuff, you
bro.
know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah.
All right. So anyway, I just wanted to share that real quick. They're like, hey, it got to be something. Now we don't know. we don't know, but I do think it's important to hear from people who have played for a couple of years with DeWanna Bonner. They all played together with the Connecticut Sun before, and so I just thought it was important just to hear that out. Just because, you know, yes, we all have our thoughts as people who are kind of observing the WNBA. But also, I do think it's important to just hear from people who played with the players that we're talking about, just to hear what's going on. But yeah, anyway, Atisha Heidemann and Courtney Williams is the gift that keeps on giving. And them two, they always got something funny to say, or they got something insightful to say that that's just like, oh wow, I didn't think about that. And so like, yeah, you gotta rock out with Court and Natisha. All right, now let's actually just finish up the segment and let's move on because oh darn, I've been long-winded because that's what I do. I gotta fix that. Anyway, make sure you hit that like button as y'all are rocking with me. Here's the deal, guys. Let's kind of zoom out real quick. We had a little break to talk about DeWanna Bonner real quick, and let's go back to the injury situation. Let's kind of zoom out because this is the reality of the WNBA. What happened to Lexi Held is very unfortunate. It sucks. It's really, really not great at all. And absolutely, we should all be praying for Lexi Held and the lung injury or the partially collapsed lung injury. Like sounds like a legit, like a serious thing that could literally affect your breathing. And so like that's a huge thing. And the thing that we have to continue to remember is that, the thing we have to keep remembering is that women's basketball is a contact sport, right? You dive for the ball, you fight through a screen, you take a charge, and in a split second, your season changes. Injuries happen. It could be your ankle, it could be your knee, it could be your lungs, it could be your head. There's a lot of stuff that can happen. It could be your teeth, which we're going to talk about in just a sec. Like, there's a lot of stuff that happens in the WNBA. Lots of injuries that can happen in the WNBA. But the thing to remember is that this is not a 15-man roster. The WNBA has 12 players, 12 active players that can be on a roster at a time, and actually be available to play. Right? This is not a league that has just extra players that can just be slotted in. You got 12 max, and some teams have 11. And because of that, it means that it's up to your front office to be ready for when injuries happen. For when injuries happen, it's up to the front office, primarily the GM, to have a plan and be able to pivot and have a list ready of players who you can slot in and be like, you know what? Hey, we got two of our guards go down. Hey, here's a guard right here. Let's contact her. Let's add her in, right? Here's a post player. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's that makes for really good front offices. Not just the 12 players that you signed at the start of the season, but the players that you have in your pipeline that can kind of help you out in hardship contracts, in rest of the season contracts and whatnot. So yeah, that's that. It's up to the general manager to do a lot of that stuff. And once again, I made a separate video about it. Like, Phoenix, the way they handle themselves there is very, very smart. I think this team is a team that is always planning for the future and is making moves and whatnot. And maybe they add in DeWanna Bonner. If they do, they'll have to get rid of somebody or have her. They got to figure something out with their personnel if they end up getting DeWanna Bonner. But adding in Williams is a good person that you can slot in and kind of see what she can do while Lexi will be out for a considerable amount of time, I imagine. All right, let's continue on, and let's talk about another injury that happened, and this one actually happened just yesterday. All right, this happened just yesterday, and this happened in the Aces versus Washington Mystics game. A very physical game, a super physical game, guys. Like, super physical, and physical from the start, physical from the first minute or so, where we weren't even a minute and a half into the game, and this happened. All right. So injury alert. Because we're already talking about how physical the WNBA is, let's talk about last night and what happened in the first 2 minutes. So Jade Melbourne, or Jade Melbourne, who, I've heard people say Melbourne and I've heard people say Melbourne. Anyway, Jade is on the Washington Mystics and is basically like point guard. for that team. And she ended up taking an inadvertent elbow to the face from Chelsea Gray. So Chelsea Gray had the basketball, and Jade was playing defense. And we saw, Chelsea do that. Boom. Hit Jade Melbourne in the face. And freak accident. Like, players get hit above the shoulders. That happens. But the fact that when she did that, it collided directly with Jade Melbourne's tooth, and Jade's tooth, or at least part of her tooth, fell out. And the officials blew the whistle. They went to the monitors to review, and after reviewing, they came back and said, you know what, that is a flagrant 1 on Chelsea Gray. And guys, I know we criticize the refs. Sometimes. We talk about the refs not calling stuff right and blah, 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 blah. The refs handled that perfectly, in my opinion. They handled it perfectly. That was a flagrant 1 because, again, it was above the shoulders. I don't think it was malice. Like, there was no malice in that, in my opinion, that there was no malice in that. However, it was a flagrant 1. Like, you have contact with somebody above the shoulders, it's a flagrant 1. Like, it is what it is. So great call by the referees. That was a well deserved flagrant 1 call. And Jade is kind of like bent over. She, and on the replay, it was like, actually, did her tooth just fly out? There was like, because at first it wasn't super clear that like her tooth fell out, but then when they were showing the replay and whatnot, it was like, oh wow, her tooth actually did fall out. And I was like, what? And the way it fell out is it didn't look like her full tooth. It did not look like her full tooth. Right? It looked like it was like a straight line where the bottom part of one of her teeth fell out. And it's her top teeth too. Like her, the front 2 teeth that you have is one of those that fell out. That part of it fell out. And after that happened, flagrant 1, so she's supposed to shoot free throws. And Jade is, her mouth is hurting, she bleed and all that stuff. And so she did not end up shooting free throws, which meant that she had to sit for the rest of the game. So she was sitting for the rest of the game, and she was on the bench cheering for her squad. She was cheering for her squad. She was excited. She was excited for her team as the Washington Mystics took down the Las Vegas Aces, y'all. We're gonna talk about the great play of everybody else on the Mystics in a sec, but I did just want to first start off by talking about Jade Melbourne and the injury, the facial injury that she has suffered again with her teeth. And again, it looked like the bottom part of one of her top teeth fell out. It does not, from the photos I have seen, it does not look like her full tooth is out. It looks like the bottom part of her top tooth is out. That's what it looks like. Now we will wait for further clarification from the Washington Mystics, but from watching the video of what happened, from watching the photos I have seen after the game, it looked like her full tooth did not come out. It looked like the bottom part of her top tooth came out. Now, when this happened, I was like, wait, didn't this happen before? Because as y'all know, I've been rocking with women's basketball for quite a bit. And there are some times where I like have like a slight memory of like, wait, I remember something like this happened in the past. And so I had to Google. And I was like, it did. Okay, so I want to take y'all back because y'all know I like random pieces of history that is not very huge, but I want to talk about it. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about this. And this is something that I don't think anybody's, at least I haven't seen any articles talking about this because I don't think people know that this happened in the past. But here's the twist that most fans do not know. This is not the first time that Jade Melbourne has had a dental disaster. This is not the first time. Not the first time at all. In 2023, while Jade was playing in the WNBA, which is Australia's women's basketball league, right? The WNBA, that's where Jade played in 2023. In 2023, Jade Melbourne had a collision with Jordan Canada. Yes, Jordan Canada, who plays for the Atlanta Dream. Okay? In 2023, that's why I have the photo to prove it. I have an article to prove it as well. If you, okay? Jade ended up colliding with Jordan Canada's forehead. So her teeth hit the forehead of Jordan Canada. Jordan Canada, I believe, ended up getting a concussion from that. And this was a big deal. Like this is a big deal. An article was written about it. And I remember at the time hearing about it and was like, oh man, like Jade Melbourne is a tough cookie. And then I forgot about it until this situation happened yesterday. And I was like, wait, didn't Jade mess up her tooth before? And guys, it looks like the same tooth. I don't know for sure, but from the looks of it, again, it looks like the same exact tooth. But yeah. Anyway, let's actually talk about it real quick. So when it happened or after it happened, Jade ended up doing an interview. And I don't have video of that game. So that's one thing. I don't have video of the game. I just have what was talked about after the game was over. So Jade says, quote, Jordan, meaning Jordan Canada, went to do a spin move, and as her head turned, my tooth went into her forehead. And I came off probably better because she got 3 stitches and a concussion. It was crazy. So again, guys, this is back in 2023. All right, back in 2023, this is what Jade Melbourne said at the time. All right, she said, apparently, Jade also said, apparently the tooth was stuck in Jordan's forehead. But one of the other players on the court went to their bench, grabbed the tooth, and put it in a cup of milk, which revived the tooth. You can't make this up. And if you don't believe me, okay, I'm gonna do a screen share of the article. So y'all can see it for yourselves because it's a wild story. It is a wild story that I vaguely remembered before, and I'm happy that my random information is actually helpful again. Okay, this is random. And maybe people will see this stream, and then you'll start to see other videos of, hey, Jade Melbourne messed up her tooth back in 2023. But know that you heard it here first, because I remember this happening. I remember this happening. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so this is the article. This is the article from the Canberra Times. All right. And so, yeah, anyway, it's again, that's the quote I literally just read about Jordan Kennedy doing that spin move and the tooth ended up in her forehead, and Jordan ended up getting stitches. She ended up getting stitches because of it. And they had to put the tooth in a cup of milk to revive it. And it's just it's just wild. It's a wild story. It's a wild story. Jade ended up saying she was in shock. But I guess everybody was having a good time laughing about it. They was having a good time laughing about it. She ended up having a procedure that repaired the tooth. It reattached the broken tooth to the top tooth. All right. And it said, and she said, it's back to normal in my mouth and looking good. I believe that's the same part of the tooth that fell out yesterday. I believe. Not 100% sure, but from the photo, it looks like it's the same tooth. All right. So yeah. And after it, the thing I kind of found funny, said after it, Jade says, I've learned my lesson and I'll probably be wearing a mouth guard at the next game. It's a sensible choice. I don't know if she wore a mouth guard temporarily, but yeah. It didn't like she had one on yesterday. And, anyway, that's what happened. It's Friday. I'm in Dallas. I was like, you know what? Sure, we're going to talk about the games that happened yesterday. But I also wanted to just do a little bit of storytelling about what happened several years ago. And the reason why I'm kind of laughing about it is because it seemed like Jade was laughing about it at the time as well. And so, it's kind of funny. It is what it is. Anyway, that's the bit of random basketball lore that I kind of find funny. So again, flashback from 2023. Also, in that game, she balled out. So yeah. Anyway, so Jade, in 2023 had part of her tooth fall out, and she scored 30 points in that game. Just saying. It just shows how tough Jade Melbourne actually is. So yeah. Again, she couldn't shoot free throws yesterday, and so she was out. She was ruled out of yesterday's game against the Aces, but she did stay on the bench. She was clapping, she was cheering, she was fully present as the Mystics ended up taking down the Aces. And guys, this is just a part of basketball, right? Sometimes stuff happens, right? Ankle sprains, ACL tears, your tooth falling out, it's a thing. It's a thing. Because again, guys, remember that women's basketball is a contact sport. Okay? It is a contact sport. All right. Now, with that being said, can we move on to actually talk about the game that happened yesterday? So I know some of y'all are probably like, will she shut up, talk about this tooth? Can she talk about the game that happened yesterday? I will talk about it, but thank you for humoring me. Thank you for humoring me. Also, if y'all could, please hit that like button. Okay, anyway, let's talk about the games that happened yesterday. Unfortunately, I forgot to make graphics for it, so it'll just be me on the screen talking about these games. Okay, anyway, let's talk about the Mystics versus the Aces. Coming into this game, the Mystics had a lot going against them. They had a lot going against them, and when the game started, they had even more going against them. Let's talk about it. So, this is a very young Washington Mystics team. Very, very young, right? Talented team, but young. This is a team that is missing who I would argue is their best player, which I think everybody realizes, Brittany Sykes. Brittany Sykes is fantastic. She is an elite scorer and an elite defender in the WNBA. So far, she's averaging 19 points a game, almost 5 assists per game as well for Brittany Sykes. Brittany Sykes was out yesterday, right? She was out. She had a lower leg injury. So your leader, one of your veteran leaders, the person who scores the most points for your team every night, she's out. She is absolutely out. She's out. She has a lower leg injury, so she's done. Emily Ensler is another player who is not the veteran like Brittany Sykes is, but also has been in the league for a couple of years, and also is someone who does give you some help off the bench. She was out. She was out. She did not. She was not playing in last night's game due to a personal issue. So we don't know what's going on with Emily Ensler, but she's out for a personal issue. And without your best scorer, this Washington Mystics team, this young Washington Mystics team, systematically broke down the Las Vegas Aces. Okay? Like, at the Aces home, guys. At the Aces home. Okay? So the game starts. Again, you don't have your star. And then your starting guard, Jade Melbourne, in the first minute of the game, or first minute and 20 of the game, gets an elbow to the face, gets part of her tooth knocked out. She can't return. She can't return to the game. So that's not just one player out in Brittany Sykes. That's not just two players out in Brittany Sykes. That's 3 players out for the Washington Mystics in Jade Melbourne getting the tooth injury and being out for the rest of the game. So when that happens, everybody else has to step up, and the player that stepped up the most, and the player that I was the most impressed with yesterday, her name is Lucy Olsen. Guys, you may remember her. She went to Iowa in her last college season, and she balled out for the Hawkeyes. She was, she did her thing. She was drafted by the Washington Mystics, and I did have a little bit of doubt on whether or not Lucy Olsen would make the team. She made the team. And she's been getting some minutes here and there. However, yesterday, because, again, you got a lot of guards out. So, and your bench, the Washington Mystics, they only had one guard on the bench at the start of the game. That's it. They had one guard, and that guard was Lucy Olsen. And when Jade Melbourne went down, Lucy Olsen had to play the rest of the game. Lucy Olsen had to play the rest. She played 38 minutes, 37, 38, something like that. She almost played the full entire game. I mean, she basically did since Jade Melbourne went out. And guys, I gotta say, can we give a shout out? Can we give a shout out to Lucy Olsen? In the chat, can we give a massive shout out to Lucy Olsen? Because y'all, this girl showed up and showed out. I'm talking a couple threes in yesterday's game. She had a mid-range shot. She was missing some shots as well, but overall, Lucy Olsen was fire. 5 of 12 from the field, 3 of 7 from the 3, 14 points added in huge minutes that she did not expect. Y'all know I'm always about, hey, next man up. You got to stay ready. Stay ready, because you never know when your next opportunity is. And Lucy Olsen stayed ready. She stayed locked in. Of course she gets minutes. I'm not Lucy Olsen does get minutes in games, but she doesn't get a ton of minutes in games. And she played 38 minutes. And she played well. Now, of course, a little bit nervous, I'm sure. I didn't listen to the post-game presser, so I'm not exactly sure what her thoughts were on the game itself. But I thought she played great. I thought she played better than I expected. And she showed her team that they can have confidence in her, and I love that. Now, of course, when we talk about yesterday's game, yes, Sonia Citron is she's great. Sony's great, absolutely great. 21 points for her. She was doing her thing left and right. Suge Sutton had a very, very great offensive night. She had to do that as well. She had 17 points. Kiki Ira-Afen, it's fun to see when other post players go against Asia. That's always really, really fun to see. I thought Kiki Ira-Afen, struggled to shoot. However, look at what she was going up against. I thought she played, as goodish as, I thought she played well. So I have no issues. Yes, was she inefficient? Sure, but at the same time, nah, she's good. 12 points, 9 rebounds for her. Shakira Austin had a double-double, 13 points, 13 rebounds. And for the Aces, they continue to have a problem. And the problem lies in needing more than just Asia to do stuff on the offensive end. Right? So, yeah, you got Asia Wilson, and Asia Wilson's Asia Wilson, but at the same time, you need your other players to step up offensively, the other starters, meaning Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, Jewel Lloyd. You need more than just 13 points max from them. You need more than that, right? And then off the bench, you did have Aaliyah Nye, who did add in some great buckets. However, Aaliyah Nye is suspect on defense. And so, yeah, you get the points, but then defensively, you're not the best. And so, it's just not great. It's just not great. It's just not. And the fact that this Aces team lost to a team that everybody thought was not going to make the playoffs before the season started. What is going on? I'm just saying, I previously did a video where I talked about the Aces and talked about the issues and specifically the issues with the GM stuff and the decisions that they've made in terms of players that they've signed and gave contracts to and extended and all that stuff. But it's really coming to a head. It really is. You need more aggression from your guards. Specifically, you need more from Jewel Lloyd, number 1, and Jackie Young. And I just, again, I do kind of think it's a little bit embarrassing. The Fever and the Aces absolutely did get exposed. Chicago Cheetah, yeah. The Aces got exposed for their defensive lapses, specifically when it comes to guard play. They got exposed on the defensive end. Exposed. And the Fever... Okay, let's talk about the Fever. Because, guys, I was watching the game, and I was like, the Fever about to win. The Fever should win, and the Fever will win, because they're the better team, in my opinion. Again, just like I thought that the Aces were the better team, is the same way I thought the Fever were the better team. But the Fever ended up losing yesterday to the LA Sparks. The final score was 75 Fever, 85 LA Sparks. And this game was in Indiana. Before the game started, after yesterday's live stream, we found out that Caitlin was not playing. She has a groin injury, so she can't play. She didn't play in yesterday's game. We don't know. No word yet on if Caitlin's playing today in Dallas. We don't know. But yeah, she does have a groin injury, and so she was out yesterday. And so that's what we knew. We also knew that Ari McDonald is back in Indiana, and she was going to be with the team. And I was still like, you know what? Sure. Yeah, they're missing Caitlin, but at the same time, you still got some really good players on your team, right? You still got Aaliyah Boston, who like, I think if you get her good looks, she can be effective all day long. Now, of course, is she more effective when Caitlin is playing the point? Absolutely. But I was like, okay, you still got Aaliyah Boston, you still got Kelsey Mitchell, who should be hot. You still got some good players, right? You still got Natasha Howard, still got Lexi Held and whatnot. I was like, okay, I think the Fever and the Fever was at home, so I was thinking, the Fever are gonna win. The Fever are gonna win, and the Fever were winning, guys. For 3 quarters, the Fever had it. They absolutely had the game. And then the fourth quarter came, and it was over. The fourth quarter came, and basically the LA Sparks wiped the floor with the Indiana Fever. In the fourth quarter alone, going into the fourth quarter, first of all, going into the first quarter, yes, Tijuana is right. Yeah, losing Plum is not the reason why the Aces defense is bad. Yeah. Anyway, going into the fourth quarter, the Indiana Fever had a sizable lead. They were up by like 8 points, and it looked like, okay, they're gonna win. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? No. We started to see Azurá Stevens get going. I believe she scored like 5 points in a row. Like she had an and one bucket to start the fourth quarter, and then she followed that up with after the Fever turned over the basketball, she ended up getting down court and making another layup. So she had like 5 points really quickly for Azurá Stevens, and then Rakia Jackson started knocking down shots. And then De'Erica Hamby, and then Kelsey Plum started making a boatload of shots as well. Kelsey Plum had like 7 points in a row. It was a 7-0 run by Kelsey Plum. All right, and guys, at the time, the Sparks were like trying to claw back into this game, right? They were down by 8, and then they started to take that down a little bit. And it was Kelsey Plum that got the Sparks the lead with 4 minutes to go. She ended up knocking down a massive 3-point bucket. And it was like, oh, is the Sparks about to win this game? Is the Sparks about to win this game? And there was some serious thought about that. And yeah, they were gonna win this game. Yes, they were gonna win this game. And part of it was the fact that the Fever went to a small lineup, partially because they kind of had to, because Natasha Howard wasn't doing much, right? It felt like they had to go to a small lineup in the fourth quarter to kind of pull out the game. Yes, Natasha Howard had 13 points and whatnot, but she wasn't doing anything on the rebounding front either. So they ended up going for a small lineup, right? Where it was Aaliyah Boston and 4 guards to sort of close out the majority of the fourth quarter. And in that time, the LA Sparks closed the door on the Indiana Fever. There were, and I wish I would have counted at the time. There were several offensive rebounds that the LA Sparks had, and just more opportunities that they end up having late in that fourth quarter. And I was like, get the rebound. I was like, come on now. Y'all better than this. Y'all can get the rebound, right? And so yeah, anyway, that was a whole thing that I was just like, dang. That cost you the game. That cost you the game. Your lack of defensive rebounds, allowing the LA Sparks to get offensive rebound after offensive rebound. That's what it was. That's what it was. So, with the combined efforts, of KP, Kelsey Plum, Azare, who I put her in the thumbnail because I feel like overall Azare does not get the respect that she deserves. Azare is one of the best post players in the WNBA right now. Okay? One of the best. So far this year, she's averaging close to a double-double, 14 points a game, 8 rebounds a game. This is someone who, yeah. She's doing great. She's doing great. She's doing all the little things for her team, and she's just someone who can spot up to make a three. She can also batter down low. She can also hit the mid range. She can also crash the board. She can do a little bit of everything for your team. And she's a pro's pro. Like, she's been in the WNBA for a long time, and she knows what to do. Right? Again, y'all saw yesterday. She can work in the post. She can also knock down big shots as well. And when you have Azare Stevens doing her thing, like, again, she only hit 1 3 yesterday. Like, she could knock down several threes, right? But when you have her doing what she's doing down low, and then you got De'Erica Hamby also just making an impact down low, facilitating De'Erica Hamby as well. She did get a ton of turnovers, like a ton of turnovers for De'Erica Hamby, but like, yeah. She was making an impact as well. And then you had KP. So Kelsey Plum can absolutely score like crazy. However, she doesn't have to all the time with her team. Because of the way this team functions, you have 2 post players who on any night could give you close to 20 points. De'Erica Hamby could do it. Azare Stevens can do it. They can give you 20 points, right? And Kelsey Plum, as long as she's getting closer to that 20-point margin, like, this team is in a good spot. And then you got Rickea Jackson just kind of hustling, making impacts, just doing stuff that don't show up on the stat sheet. Of course, she scores as well. And what's the ball game? Now, can you point to oh, wasn't that, Aaliyah Boston was getting fouled down low. They didn't call, and the refs didn't call it all the time, and yada yada. Sure, absolutely. You can always, for the most part, anytime your team loses, you can go back and count all the fouls that the refs didn't call, that you think they should have called for your team, and stuff that they called for the other team that they shouldn't have called, and whatnot. The end of the day, the Indiana Fever had this game. They had it. They lost it by just, I don't even know what they were doing on the offensive end in the fourth quarter. Like, it just, I don't know. They went away from what they were doing to make them successful in the first 3 quarters. And they got a little bit lazy on the rebounding front. Right? And so, yeah. There's a lot of stuff that you can point to, but at the end of the day, the Fever should have won that game. They should have won, and they didn't. And so you gotta get it together. You gotta get it together. Because yeah, you just got to. Because yeah, I understand Caitlin was out. I understand that. But you'll never reach the potential that your team can reach if y'all can't figure out how to win games without Caitlin. Now, of course, you're not gonna make it crazy far in the playoffs without Caitlin. But if Caitlin needs to be out for a couple of weeks to fully get her body healed, and maybe she does need to be out for a while to fully get 100% back. If that's what needs to happen, everybody else has to actually step up. And you gotta win winnable games. Like, if you were playing against the Liberty and you lost, or you're playing against the Minnesota Lynx and you lost, that's kind of understandable because you're like, that's kind of understandable, right? But if you can't beat teams that are not even in the playoffs right now, if the season ended right now, the Sparks would not be in the playoffs. If you can't even beat them without Caitlin, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle. You're going to struggle. And remember, the LA Sparks still have a ton of people out. A ton. Odyssey Sims is still out. Right? We don't know exactly why. We know it's a personal reason she's out. So Odyssey Sims is gone. You got Cameron Brink, who is still out. She should be. We don't know exactly when she's returning. But yeah, I was thinking like July, but maybe that's not. But maybe that's not happening. You got Ray Burrell, who's still gonna be out for a while, right? And you still lost. I'm just saying from a just player pride standpoint, absolutely. Shout out to the LA Sparks for being on their big one, for being down several people and still beating a bigger team, a better team. Absolutely. But from the Fever, it's similar to the Aces. It's like, what are y'all doing? Like this is not gonna get you far in the playoffs. It's not, right? And so yeah. Anyway, that's all I got to say. That's my random rant. Anyway, that's the stream, guys. Thank y'all for rocking with me. We've been going for over an hour. Okay, so that means I gotta go. But before I do that, I do want to say I will be at the game tonight. Between the Fever and the Wings, I will be sitting courtside. I will not be live streaming the game. I will not. Okay, I will not be live streaming tonight at all. Well, maybe after the game, if I have a signal after the game, I'll live stream. It depends. But I don't plan on live streaming during the game at all. I may get some like video clips to like mesh up together after the fact. But yeah, I'm sitting on the baseline, which is kind of crazy. Like I'm actually very, very excited about it. I'm very, very excited. Again, shout out to Tisha. But yeah, I'll be there tonight. So if anybody is at the game, like, let me know. Let me know. We could say hi to each other. But anyway, also guys, I will be on the PHX show. No, PX. We're in Dallas. I will be at the DLLS Wings on the DLLS Wings show tonight, or this afternoon, I should say, at 2:30 Central Time. I will be there talking about the game that's going to happen tonight between the Wings and the Fever. So if y'all want to hear my specific thoughts about what we're going to see tonight and who I anticipate winning and all that good stuff, make sure to subscribe to the DLLS Sports channel, and watch and put your notifications on for their Dallas Wings show, and we'll be watching it. Mama is not here with me. No, Mama is not here with me. Okay, but yeah, it should be really fun. I'm very, very excited. I am very, very, very excited. But yeah, I will not be live during the game. I may be live after the game, and even maybe slightly before, depending. It depends on if I get a signal. But I'm definitely not going live during the game. Okay, all right. But make sure your notification is turned on, so if I do go live at a random time throughout today, y'all will see it and be able to engage. Anyway, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. If y'all could, make sure to hit that like button. It really does help the channel out a whole lot. Also, make sure to subscribe as well. Ro says Enjoy the game, Quita. Don't worry about live streaming. You deserve a game to just watch and enjoy. Congratulations on the show appearance. Thank you. Ed is saying, let's go Q, go Fever. Yeah, we gonna see. We gonna see what happens, guys. We gonna see. Yeah, woo. I'm excited. I am excited. Again, shout out to Tisha. Yeah, my mama had to work. She is back in. She's still in Chicago. She working. But anyway, she is. Thank you so much for asking. She is doing better. Yeah. She was like sick. I don't know exactly what it was. Maybe it's just like seasonal cold or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, she was pretty sick. But she's doing good. Thank you so much for asking. Anyway, guys, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Have a good day. Yeah. Be kind to someone. Tell somebody that they matter, because they truly, truly do. And if no one has told you, you matter. Well, let me tell you. You matter. You're important. And I'm happy that you are on this earth, guys. From Dallas. I will see y'all in the next one. Hold on. Let me get my end of broadcast graphic up. All right. See y'all next one. Bye-bye.
Are you ready?